Okay, it should be recording. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to session 1, Connecting Careers Within Your Community with Dawn Nguyen. Dawn is an award-winning teacher with more than 20 years experience teaching students from kindergarten through high school, including special needs students, English language learners, and at-risk youth. She was recognized and honored with the Teacher of the Year Award and the Superintendent's Award for her teaching excellence. Dawn earned a Bachelor of Arts in Theater at UCLA and holds a master's degree in education. She currently serves as the program manager for Nepris for Nevada, connecting teachers and students with industry professionals. Welcome to session 1.
Thank you, everyone. Good morning, Julie. Yes, I think we have met via email. I recognize the name, so thank you for that. It's always nice to put a face there. Good morning. Well, first of all, thank you for being here on a Saturday morning. I really commend you. It speaks volumes of your commitment. And I'm just excited. It's going to be a quick, hour session that will zoom by very fast. Just a little bit about myself. I'm a program manager for Nepris for Nevada, former teacher myself, 20 plus years in education, everything I've done, really everything from kindergarten to high school. But most of my time was spent with what I call the littles, like 3rd and 4th graders. The past 6 years, I've been in ed tech. I absolutely love it because I get to remain in education and yet connect with fabulous people like you all over the country. I first discovered Nepris on the professional side. A little labor of love of mine is writing children's books. So I've written 4 children's books now, and I was first asked to be as a presenter on that side, and now have transitioned to the education side. So it's just a perfect fit. And I kind of have a neat perspective because I know both ends of the platform. As we talked about earlier, yes, pets might pop up. There are my 2 little kittens. They're old now. You might see tails wagging in here. I live in Southern California. We have a protected peacock zone. And so they're very vocal this time of year. So if you hear anyone screaming in the background, it's not kids, it's probably just the peacocks going off. So just like to give those little disclosures before we get going, because inevitably, if I don't, something will pop open and happen. So just let me give you a little bit of background about Nepris. It was founded in 2013, was based on this need to connect teachers and students with industry professionals. So we find, match, connect, and engage those students with those industry professionals. This program has been made available to all middle and high school teachers, counselors, administrators across the entire state. So 6th through 12th grade, students, teachers, like I said, counselors, coordinators, all of that, you have access to this program. We've had great reception so far. It's been renewed for another year. So it's a great time to kind of get started and learn about it and maybe hit the ground running next year with all the resources that you have available in there. We have currently over 55,000 industry professionals on the platform. If you don't find what you're looking for, we encourage you to reach out to our support team, because we will go out and we'll do the work and find that professional for you. So a great example is we had a teacher in Elko, consumer science teacher, who was looking for a tanner. They take the hides of the animals and they sew them in their class. And we didn't have anyone like that on the platform, but when that request came in, we were able to reach out, we were able to find that perfect fit for the teacher. So I like using examples like that. As you get in here and you may not find exactly what you're looking for, you could still put in a request for a live session, and we'll do the work for you and go out and find those professionals. We also have a partnership with LinkedIn. It's a little different than the LinkedIn that you and I would go to. It's a sister platform called LinkedIn for Good. So the presenters that are on there are there because they want to volunteer and they want to give back. And then finally, we have partnerships that are built in: Verizon, Samsung. We have a new partnership with Tesla. We have some local partnerships with Nevada that we're continuing to grow and build out. The great thing for all of you is you have what's called a white label. So you have access to industry professionals all across the country, But then you also have local connections. So as part of that white label, we have local industry, local, what we call industry chats that are geared just for your specific region or for your state. So it's a really nice opportunity for your students to see what we have in their backyard. But if they're interested in exploring outside of that, they have that option as well. So the platform consists of 4 different engagement models. You have full access to all of these. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to give you an overview. I will pop into the platform, also kind of walk you through it. And then I'll make sure that we can get you all logged in. A lot of you may not have accounts. I know we've created accounts for all teachers, but if you're a coordinator or a counselor, you may not have an account. So I'm going to make sure that we can get you signed up and get you in with an account by the end of this session today. Industry chats and teacher requested sessions are the live portion. So it's very much like what we're doing now, where there's a professional on the other side, students and the teacher are on the other side of the camera, and they're interacting in a live in virtual environment. The video library and the career explorer are the more static components. So you can access those at any point. Industry chats, a great way to get started. We've done all the work for you. So we have the day, the time, the theme, the key questions, the outcome, the presenter already lined up. You simply register to attend and show up on the day. Or if the time doesn't work for you, you can always request the recording when it becomes available. We have many themes. We just finished a robotics theme for Nevada robotics theme. We did a manufacturing theme. I know that we're going to have in the fall, we're going to have an education week theme. So there will be ones specifically under the Nevada series. You are not limited to that. You can attend any series. So you'll see Disability Awareness Month, bully prevention. You'll also see some of these with a little light bulb. These are geared towards educators. So they're geared towards adults in there. It might be an overview of the platform. It might be learning about a teacher requested session. In the summer, we're going to have our educator summit where we're going to delve more deeply, and we're going to break up into groups, whether it's by grade levels or whether it's by subjects or pathways. So you'll have an opportunity over the summer to check some of those out as well. The second live engagement model are teacher requested sessions. So these are where you really have the flexibility to design and customize what works for you and your students. You get to choose the day, the time, key questions, outcomes. You can even request specific presenters if you want. Here are some examples. Topic presentation. I saw a theater major there, love of my heart. I majored in theater. So you might be doing a lesson on set design, and you want someone to come and talk about the different elements of set design. You could do something like that. Project mentoring. Students are working on a project. You could have a person come in and mentor, act as an advisor, give them feedback, encouragement, advice along the way with that project. You can then take those projects and turn it into a project evaluation. So as the end of the year is coming up, I always say, give yourself a break and have a professional come in and evaluate those projects for your students. You can give the presenter a rubric and have them go through and grade them for you. It also increases the stakes for your students, right? Knowing that a professional is coming in, not that you all are professionals, but having an outside person come in and grade it might encourage them to put forth a little bit more attention to that project in there. Live demonstrations. So these are great, like hands-on science, culinary demonstrations, anything that you need to model. Great. Guest speakers. You might be exploring different careers or introducing your students to a variety of pathways that exist for them. Have a guest speaker come in and talk about a day in their life. It's always great to get students input as well. Like, who would you like to see? Who do you want to hear from? Older students can do resume review and mock interviews, so we can simulate a work interview environment of what that looks like and give them experience. So when they start going out and doing that, they'll have a little more confidence and feel comfortable with that. I always say that if you can conceive it, then it's something that we can create. You can even mix and match these. So I saw a really neat one that was on an ice cream making facility, where the first part of the presentation was kind of the educational part, where they were talking about a business model and a business plan of what you need to do to get a business up and running. They then went and gave us a tour of the facility and then gave us a demonstration on how to customize an ice cream flavor. So many different opportunities that you can do with that. I'm going to pause right now to see if there's any questions, or sometimes you might have an idea ruminating in your head. If you want to throw it out there and see how that would work, feel free to do that. I'm going to encourage you to unmute as well. Of course, you can use the chat, but we're a small group, so feel free to unmute as well.
This is Kat Collins. I'm assuming that you probably have musicians in this group as well, right? So my husband's a band teacher, and I know he struggled with finding a percussion specialist for his school.
Yep.
So someone to demonstrate some of the percussion stuff. He knows all the instruments, but it's always good to have an expert in the particular field.
Yep.
So this would be a great resource.
Absolutely. Yep. That would, yep. We have music, performing arts, agriculture. Well, when we get in there, you'll see just like tons of stuff. We even have things like, for the younger students, like real world relevance, like if you're teaching math, like when the kids always say, why do I need to learn math? Well, here are situations where you need to learn math in there. Okay, so Kim has a great question. How much time do you need before scheduling something like that? Great question. We request 2 to 3 weeks advance notice for any of our live sessions. That gives us enough time to find the presenter, get it set up, and get you set up. So do think about that, about what's coming up. So what we're at the end of April now, mid-May, think about what's coming up in May, end of the year. This is a great time to utilize those guest speakers, right? As students are finishing up with finals and testing, and that burnout factor is hitting in. Think about the end of the year. How can I bring some professionals in to maybe tie up what we've been learning in class, to introduce a new topic, a new lesson, or just give them that relevance, that real world exposure that they might not necessarily get through the curriculum or through that textbook that you're doing. So great question. Along the lines of that as well, to do a live session, you need a minimum of 3 students. So just keep that in mind. As long as you have 3 students, you can do a live session. So if you're thinking about a project mentoring, maybe you have students group up by topics, and maybe there's 5 of them in this one, 5, something like that as well. Oh, Deanna. Okay, great. So I was reading your mind there. So perfect. Yeah. As long as you have 3, and hopefully we'll have time to kind of go through that, that little request, and I'll show you how you can do that. And that's listed in there as well. You're welcome. Any other questions? This is just, a really great way to engage your students. I know a lot of times people are intimidated at first putting in this session request, but once they do it, they always say, gosh, I wish I would have done this sooner. Because once you fill out the form to do this, we're going to take over, and we're going to go and do that legwork of reaching out and finding that person for you. All right. I'm going to watch a quick little clip.
Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Michael Ramirez, and I am a chemist with the Bureau of Engraving and Printing. I am in Washington, D.C., and I work for the Quality Directorate within the Bureau of Engraving and Printing.
I am one of the scientists that develop technologies to help secure our currency, our US money, here at home and abroad. And this is, can you see it? This is the paper where we print our money. It's a big piece of paper. So we actually don't print money in this way. We start from a big piece of paper and print all the notes there, and then we have machines to cut those notes.
In the face of the banknote, who can tell who's in the face of the 100?
Benjamin Franklin.
Yeah.
Very good.
Very
Very
good.
good. That's
So that was just a quick little clip from a former teacher requested session, a live session. All of our live sessions get recorded. They go back to our video production team where they're edited. As you can see in that clip, the faces are blurred out. The names are removed to protect the privacy. Gets uploaded in here into our video library, which contains about 16,000 authentic videos. They could be really various lengths, 15 minutes to an hour plus. Typically about 30 to 40 minutes is what you'll see. We do have a collection of micro videos. Those videos are 3 to 5 minutes in length. So great little time fillers. If you have a few minutes before the end of class and you just don't want to start something new, you could show them a little micro video. Also a great way to begin a class as well. With these videos, you can make playlists. So with these playlists, you can share them with students. One of the things that I also recommend is creating a substitute playlist. So if you have to be out last minute, any length of time, you have this playlist. You share the link with your substitute. The substitute does not need an account. They don't need to be logged into Nepris. They'll be taken right here to your collection of videos. Same thing with students. If you share the playlist with your students, they don't need an account. They don't need to be logged in. So if you wanted to create this as a homework assignment, independent study assignment, something like that, you could create a playlist, instruct your students to watch it. And then we have a collection of activity worksheets that you could assign to go along with them. So kind of nice to have in place if you have to be out last minute and the janitor winds up being the sub in there, or for my counselors that are on here, right? You walk into a class and you may not have sub plans, or if I had to go into a chemistry class, oh my gosh, I would be lost. So you could come into Nepris, you could pull up a video and you could show that to them. So as I know, many people here may not be classroom teachers, but maybe get pulled into those situations as well. The last one is one of my favorite engagement models. It's the Career Explorer. So it's very much like your Nevada Career Explorer. It pulls in from ONET. They can do an interest profiler. It follows the RIASEC model. So it gives them 30 questions and it will give them like categories for their personality traits. And then they can find out how much money they can potentially make, what type of education do they need, what skills do they need, technology. Then they can come and they can look at their state and they could see right here. This is for graphic designs. So in Nevada, it's below average opportunities. But if I go next door to Utah, I have above average opportunities. Videos populate down here so they can watch some videos about the career. And then they can even compare up to 4 careers side by side and see what type of outlook do we have, what type of salary can I make, and then what type of education do I need.
So there is a question in the chat about what is the average length of the videos?
So average length of the videos is about 30 to 40 minutes. Most of those live sessions usually take place over a class period. And so, I would say teachers usually request someone 30 to 45 minutes. So that's going to be about the average length of those videos in there. And we'll take a peek and you can kind of see when we get in there. So Career Explorer is a really great way to get your students thinking, kind of researching careers that they might be interested in and just getting an idea about that. There. All right. So, and actually this is the wrong one. It's nevada.nepris.com. So let me get, and I'll put that in the chat. I'm going to do a walkthrough and then I'm going to give you all time to log in and we'll make sure that we can get you all logged in. Okay, so Laurel, great question about students have access to these resources. Students can create an account. Typically, this is more of a teacher-led platform where the teachers are recommending and pushing videos, but students can have an account. A couple of use cases where students would need an account. One use case would be if you would like students to explore the videos on their own. Like you want them to get in there and explore videos on their own. Another use case would be if they're in the Career Explorer and you want them to save, like favorite their careers and save them. They would create an account for that. And the third case would be if I had anyone working like asynchronously or working at home and I was doing a live session, I would need a student to have their own account to give them this access code to access the live session. Otherwise, they don't need it because I can push out the videos. I will show you since I'm in here, if you would like them to access the Career Explorer, but let's say you don't really want them to create an account. You don't want them to explore. If they come up here, if they go to nevada.nepris.com, they click on educators and they go to Career Explorer, it kind of bypasses that login and they can take the interest profiler and they can explore careers. The only caveat is if they favorite a career, it's not going to save for them and their interest profiler results won't be saved. So that's not a big deal. You know, if they can write down their results and, you know, write down their favorite careers, they can do that and they can bypass that whole account creation. Otherwise, students can create an account. Easiest way is for them to sign in and use either the Google or Microsoft. So depending on what their email account is, if they have a Google email or like an Outlook email, they'll sign in. And what it will do is it will create an account for them. So that's really the simplest way to create a student account if you want them to get in and browse those video libraries and save that. Student 21. Yeah, exactly. For those students that are older and SPED programs, absolutely. Yeah, they can come in and create that account and give, in that case, definitely would let them do that self-exploration. Yeah, great question. So I'm going to sign in as well to my account so we can take a look at the dashboard. And if I don't remember, Laurel, just remind me that I need to show you how to give those students an access code to unlock the videos. So when students create an account, they can come in, they can explore the video, but in order to explore the videos, we have to unlock them the first time. And there's just a way to get an access code for that. So here we have industry chats, session requests, video library, and the Career Explorer. If I click on the industry chats, I could type in what I'm looking for. I could also filter by career clusters, industry chat series. So we have employability, Earth Week, you know, hands-on. Here we go. Here's our Nevada Roblox series. So I can do that. I can also come in here and filter by Nepris for Nevada. So if you're looking for something just state specific, you can do that. And when I click on this card, I can see this is the 20 coming up on the 26th at 8:45. Time zone will be wherever you're physically located, 30 minutes. This is elementary and middle school. It's just talking about Nevada robotics, competition, what BEX looks like, expected outcomes. I can click on the profile and see who the presenter is. I can register to attend this. I would just put how many students I'm bringing with me. Your phone number is only for an emergency in case we had to get hold of you for a last minute change. As long as all your students are with you, you don't need to worry about assigning to class. And then I would simply click save. Here is where that access code is. If I had a student working remotely, I would give student this access code so they could log into that live session. Otherwise, there was the other option to request the video. If the time doesn't work for you, you can always request the video in there. You may not always find when you're looking at these industry chats, you may not always find something, but I encourage you to check back on a weekly basis because every week we are adding new chats in there. So you might not find something applicable right now, but 2 weeks down the road, you might find something that's applicable. So then the next space would be to go to videos. So again, career clusters, I can filter by grade level, video format. So those are those full length videos. And then the micro videos are under 10 minutes. Session source will tell me if it was a former industry chat, which is what I just showed you, or it's a former teacher requested session. So Kat, since you brought up band, let's just type in band and it looks like 63 videos came up. If I typed in something like graphic design and I still had 1,000, at that point, I would probably filter by career clusters and kind of narrow down that way in there. So marching band, exploring music industry. We want to talk to a musician. So let's just kind of put that one up. So this one is teaching a band. Would love to talk about someone who has a passion for it. How did you pick your instrument? So again, he can make it very specific, you know, to what he's looking for. If he doesn't find the video, he can always put in that request to make it specific to really personalize that. What I like to do is I like to click play and I'll pause it so I can see this video is just under 25 minutes. So I can see that. The little hearts are a good indication as you see people liking it. That's a good sign. This is a relatively new feature. So if you don't see like hundreds of likes, that's because it's a newer feature. You can share the video. So if you utilize Google Classroom, you can share it to your classroom. You can embed this into Canvas, into any sort of LMS that you have, or you could share the URL. So this is what I could copy. I could share it with a colleague. I could share it with a student. I could share it with a substitute. When they get that link, it takes them right here to this page. It bypasses that whole login for them. You could bookmark it. So let's say Monday, you wanted to show this in class, go ahead and bookmark it, or you could create a playlist. So I have a bunch of playlists that I have already created in there. I don't have a music one, it looks like. So let's do music, create the playlist, and then I'm going to add that to my playlist. I could even add it to other playlists if I wanted to as well. To access your playlist, open up this little panel. That three little lines will open up your panel, and go back to videos. The very last choice is playlists. So here's all my playlists. So if I click on my video production one, I have 22 videos. If I want to share that, again, I could share it to a Google Classroom, or I could just copy this. And then all of these videos would be available to whoever I shared out with. What's nice is this URL will remain the same. So if you post it on a website, you know, share this out, it will remain the same. As you add more videos in there, you'll still have that same link that you can access in there. So kind of great way to start curating that. Little trick that I do when I'm navigating the videos, because it can be a little bit of time, is I'll watch the first few minutes. If I like the energy of the presenter, I fast forward, I watch another minute, I fast forward. And that way I can see, are there visuals? Did they give me a little tour? What does that look like? And once you do that, you'll get an idea and get a sense, okay, this would be, my students would be interested in this. And then you could, you know, favorite it or put it in your bookmarks. From that left-hand panel, about halfway down are reinforcement tools and activity sheets. So you could pair up the activity sheets with what you're doing, depending on what engagement model you're in. You have the Career Explorer, live sessions, or video library. It'll start with worksheets that are geared towards younger students, and then it goes towards older. The one that I really like is the Sweet 16. This is a Word document, which means that you can edit the questions. You can save it to your desktop. I don't know why that opened. Let's get into the right one. Let's close that one. There we go. You can save this to your desktop so that you have a copy available. You know, share it out, whether you post it on Teams or Google, you know, you can have that available. It'll start with questions that apply to any video. What is the title of the video? What is the name of the presenter's career? Then it goes into critical thinking. So what courses should you take to be successful? After watching this, are you interested? Why or why not? What courses have you taken that you might apply to this? So it's a nice little base to start from. And if you want to go in and add your own like personalized questions, you have the ability to do that. Love this, again, as an emergency subplan. Have this worksheet, have a video that I can pair up and have available for my students. So this is just as a reminder, under your dashboard, under that panel, under reinforcement tools and activity sheets. That's where you can find that. As I show you from this dashboard, you'll see your completed sessions, session requests, your impact score, simply the amount of students that you've impacted. We will also recommend some upcoming chats and some playlists. So these are curated playlists. We've kind of done the work for you. So as you're going through, you could always go to videos. And if you go to video playlists, these are pre-populated playlists that other educators or teachers, counselors, administrators have shared. So if you feel like it's a little overwhelming with the videos, you might want to come here and see if there's some pre-populated playlists that you can already use in there. So this is really exciting. Like we started with like 30 of these, and now we have close to 300. So you could kind of go in and at least maybe filter by grade level to help narrow that down, but you can just kind of scroll through and see if there's anything that sticks out as a launching place. You'll notice as you browse from page to page, there is this need help button. Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m., you have a live support person. So it's not a bot. There'll be a live person there to help you. So as you're going through this, if you're struggling to find a video, you need help putting in a session request, maybe a link isn't working or a video is not working, just go ahead and click on that. That's going to be your fastest way to get help and support when you're in the platform. If it's like today on a weekend, you can send an email to our support and they'll get back to you as well. So you have that available. Lastly, I just want to show you how to put in a request for a session. So you have the option if you are putting in this. So if you're like a counselor putting in this on behalf of an educator, you could select, yes, you're creating this for an educator, and then you would select that person. What happens is you'll go through this form, you'll submit it. The nice thing is it takes it off of your plate. And once it's submitted, all the communication will then go to the educator. So kind of keep that in mind too. And it's just as a little warning, we discovered this. We had a group of WASHO counselors that created sessions for the educators, and the educators didn't know about it. And so they were like canceling these sessions because they're like, what is this? So do make sure if you do create it on behalf of someone else that you let them know that. And then know that you're not going to receive any communication after that point. So just keep that in mind. You'll have to let the teacher know that, hey, you're going to be getting some emails from Nepris. This is what it is. So it's nice because you can get them started, but then it takes it off of your plate at that point. Otherwise, if you're creating it for yourself, you'll just select no. You will choose which option best matches, whether you're doing an evaluation or a topic presentation. You'll give it a title. Think about a title that's specific to, what you're doing. Of course, you could just put something like band or put something like theater. I like to be a little more specific. So as people are searching, they might have, more information, like whether it is, percussion instruments in band or something like that. Subject areas that it applies to. So you'll go through and you'll find that career cluster that it applies to, and grade levels. So if you do something like high school, I do recommend that you also tag it with the specific grade. That way, both of them will come up in a search. I also know as a presenter, I might tailor something a little differently for a 9th grader than I would for a 12th grader. So it's nice to have that. Give us a couple sentences about what the session will cover. This is what we're learning. This is what we would like from the session. Identify some takeaways. So these are the outcomes. When we're done with this session, this is what I hope my students take away from it. And then key questions. A lot of the key questions are standard. And if you go through as you're looking at the videos, you can even copy and paste key questions from those. Typically, they all want to know, how much money am I going to make? What type of education do I need? What is the best part of your job? What's the most challenging part of your job? So put those in there so the presenter can be prepared and know what to answer. And then industries, 1 to 3 industries is great. So if I'm doing, again, I can do theater, I could do musical theater, whatever theater, tech, pick a couple industries. Skills are optional. You don't have to include them, but they can be helpful because we take these skills and that helps us match us to professionals. So if we're working on Avid, if I'm working on AutoCAD, if I'm working on Photoshop, things like that, go ahead and put those skills in there. You also have an option to request a company. Disney, Tesla, your local bank, like whatever that might look like. Even if that company is not on our platform, go ahead and put it. It's a great excuse for us to reach out to that company. Companies are usually excited to get on the platform when they know that they have an educator that has requested them. So it helps us as well. Session length, an hour if you want, 20 minutes. You're the boss, you get to choose. I'll just type in 40. You need to give us one day and time. You'll see here, it shows May 9th. That's the earliest. So that's that, I think it's that 2-week turnaround in there. So that's the earliest that you could request. Doesn't mean that you have to choose this date. We're just putting that in there for you to know that. I personally recommend 2 or 3 dates. That opens up the possibility to more presenters and makes it easier to fill that. Here's that reminder that you have to have, it says more than 3, but you should be able to put 3 in there. If you would like this session to be open, you have some other teachers, you want multiple teachers to join, could be outside of your district, even on the Nepris platform, select yes. If you want it private, select no. And if you have a specific presenter, you can always go and search for the industry expert and request a specific person. Otherwise, you can leave it up to us. Additional notes, important for us. You're looking for a bilingual presenter. You're looking for person of color. You're looking for a female presenter. I also like to include dynamics in my students. I have SPED students. Anything that will help us. More is better. So another great example, a teacher, we have an Avid teacher in Washoe who uses this regularly. Her first session, she's like, it was good, but not quite what I wanted because the presenter geared everything towards students going on to college and those that weren't. She taught AP. She says, all my students are going on to university. I really wish it was tailored more towards those students. So she says, I know next time I'm going to put that detail in there. So the more details you give us, the easier it is to find that presenter, and then the presenter can also tailor that presentation for you. And then you'll check the last 2 boxes. You're granting us permission to record, understand it's taking place on our platform. When you're ready to submit it, go ahead. Otherwise, you can also save it as a draft and you can come back to it at a later date. So for my sessions, under sessions, my sessions, all of them will be here. So this is the industry chat that I registered. So it's going to have that it's confirmed. My drafts will be here where I can go in and I could edit it and submit it when I'm ready. Any sessions that you've attended, industry chats or teacher requested sessions, they'll also be housed here in your videos. So you'll have that video available to you. If you do one live session and you want to show another group of students the video, you can come in here and find that. So let me pause. Let me see if you have any questions regarding requests. Yet. Right. Under your connections, you'll have organizations. These are going to be specific to Nevada. So these are some of our partners. Like I said, this is continuing to be built out. You can also go to members, and this will show you basically all the Nevada people we have on the platform. We have 8,000. A lot of those are going to be educators. So it's educators and professionals. But if you were looking for a specific person, you could also come in here and search and filter by that as well. So it kind of gives you an idea of your local connections. 2 other things to show you. I'll show you our help center. So if it's after hours and you're like me, I get kind of antsy and I want the answers right away. If you go up to your profile in the right-hand corner and you click on Help Center, it opens a new tab. Click on Educators, and you'll find a wealth of information that will gear you to where you want to go. So if I click on Browse our Video Library, The second one is a video that's just under 2 minutes. It will remind you how to create a playlist. It's great. You don't have to watch a 2-hour video. You don't have to go through a 100-page manual. You can just find exactly what you're looking for in here. Which reminds me, I think, Laura, student access to videos. So you're going to want to get a class code, and I'll copy this. The easiest thing to do is to go up to that profile. It will walk you through. Go to your subscription. So if you go to account settings and you go to subscription, there's this little bar where you just give it a label. You can label it whatever you want and get class code, and you'll get this little class code. When you share that class code with your students, it unlocks the video. It's a one and done thing. You only have to do it once. Once they're unlocked, they have unlimited access to that. So let me copy this and just put that in the chat. So you have that if you want to just grab that and see how that is. So really great way, something that maybe we didn't go over today or you forgot how to do, just come into this help center and you'll be able to find the information with little screenshots or quick little videos as well. I will also point out the professional development resource. If you have a need to get credits for your credential, if you come here to the on-demand professional development, what it will do is it will ask you to create an account with Teachable. So you would just sign up with your email. We have different modules that you go through. So there's a module on the Career Explorer, one on the video library. It'll have some videos. You'll answer some questions. At the end of the module, you'll get a certificate. For every module that you complete and get a certificate, that's 1 hour towards your recertification. So I do like to point this out. It is approved with the state. We have it, all lined up with them. So if you need a quick way to get those hours in, you have it right here and it's free for you to use. It's not like you have to pay for those additional hours. So I just do like to point that out because it's great. I know what that's like, especially if it comes crunch time, you're like, I just have 2 more hours. Come in here and do 2 modules and you can get those hours in very quickly. Not that any of you would ever probably do that, right? But you have that. Oops, let me go back to the dashboard. I encourage you to get in here and explore. You'll find that it's very intuitive. It's easy to use. I know we have just a couple minutes. So what I would like to do is have you all, if you haven't, I'm sure probably all of you have, if you go to nevada.nepris.com, do the sign in with either your Google or Microsoft school email. I am anticipating that most of you probably have a bronze account up in the right-hand corner, right? Okay, probably most of you do. So what I would like you to do is if you have a bronze account in the chat, please put your email and the school that you're associated with. If you're not associated with a school, just give me a school near you because I have to associate you with an account. And then what I can do is after this session, I'll go on the back end, I'll upgrade you to platinum. You'll get an email saying, welcome, you now have a platinum account. So yeah, Deanna, a question about the login.
Yeah, that was my question, was because I'm a transition specialist, I don't have a school.
Okay.
So I'll just choose one of my schools that I service.
Yep.
Okay, great, thanks.
Absolutely. Just choose one of them that you service and then we'll just associate. It's not really going to matter what school that you're with. So, and I'll just see if anyone else has that. I'll just take a little screenshot so that I can upgrade you on the end. And something, do any of you, since I have some sped transition, do any of you use a virtual job shadow? Yeah. Okay. So it's official. I can announce it now. We have just basically partnered. We're going to be merging with Virtual Job Shadow, which is really exciting because I know a lot of you do use that. I can't tell you how that's going to look and what that's going to look like at this point. But yeah, it's really exciting because I think that where Virtual Job Shadow has gaps, we fill in, and where we have gaps, they fill in. For the remainder of the year, there's still going to be 2 separate platforms. But at some point, I don't know if they're going to be completely combined, or it'll be maybe one login that will direct you to different ones. So I just thought that I would share that in there. So that's exciting news that you'll have access to both of those in there. Okay, so some of you have Platinum, which is great. Let me take a picture of this. Okay, so I'm glad that some of you have Platinum, which is great. Okay. Let's save this. Okay. And Kim, are you showing bronze as well? Yes. Okay. So Kim, just give me a school that I can associate you with. So I have that. And Laura, yours is still bronze. Okay. I will, right after this session, I have to get into another program on the back end to do that. So within the next, I would say 30 minutes, we'll upgrade you and make sure that you have that. Okay. Basic. Okay. So Kim is basic. Just gonna write all this down. Tiana. Okay, so questions that you have, or something that you want me to go over and show you again, or something that you didn't quite get? Other questions? No. Okay, so Kathleen has that survey. That's always great. We love feedback for the survey. So I'll just kind of, wrap it up here. Next steps, start exploring, get in there, get comfortable with the platform. There's nothing you can break. There's nothing that you can delete. If you put in a session by accident, we can always go in and revoke that. So don't be worried about that. Look for industry chat emails. Every Tuesday, we send an email out from Nepris and it will highlight chats. So it's a great way just to remind you of chats that are coming up. Start creating those playlists. Think about lessons or sessions that you can utilize, whether it's career opportunities for your students, whether it's a project evaluation that you might want to do. Think about things that are coming up, or ending the year that you can utilize. Here is my personal email. Feel free to write that down or take a screenshot. I also put this little QR code, and here's the link to my calendar. I'm the dedicated trainer for the state. So if you have a group of educators, as you go back to your school and talk about that and would like to arrange a training, you can schedule directly with me on my calendar if you want to email me. That's what I'm here for. We really want to get the word out to as many people as possible that they have this resource that's available. So please let them know. We can do a group of teachers, whether it's a group of CTE teachers, whether it's the entire school. Let them know that that's what we're here for. And as you come across people, or they get in and they have a bronze account, reach out to me. I'll upgrade them to platinum. Any of sort of those things in there will help you with in there. Okay, so Nicole, I see that you have that as well. Okay, so we'll make sure that you get upgraded. So that's really all I have. I will stay on if you guys have any other last minute lingering questions. Otherwise, you could probably use a quick little break if you want before you go to your next session. I thank you so much for being here this morning. I know you guys are completely busy beyond belief, so I appreciate your time.
This sounds like a really great resource. Thank you. Make sure you filled out the survey and the attendance tracker. Please note that the attendance tracker and the end of the summit survey do need to be completed in order to get that professional learning certificate. A reminder, this is room 6, and our session was connecting careers within your community. We still have 5 minutes if you want to hang around and chat or ask questions or anything. And thank you very much, Don, for putting this on. This was very informative.
Right. And David, you're my theater teacher, right? We have a really great, so many things for theater. And I say this because we had someone recently who was a theater teacher, and they made a model of well, actually they talked to the presenter about their theater. The presenter actually went back on her own and made a model for the students of the theater, which is really neat. So there's a lot of like personalized opportunities that you can do with your students in there. I'm just kind of going through the chat to make sure that I got everyone's information. Okay, so that is Kim Bass.